what I saw was that Old Testament event, which I think in Hebrew is called Purging, in which basically it was the complete destruction and annihilation of a people and setting it unto God. I think that was done particularly with the Canaanites, in which, I mean, to use a modern term, it was basically genocide. And so everything was killed and everything was destroyed. And my experience of seeing that was, I mean, the first thing that is provoked is this feeling of horror, obviously, but also just feeling as if it is so unfair. Because the death of everything includes not just men, but women, children, adult animals, baby animals, everything is put to the sword. I even had this experience of it was a carnal feeling, but like an inverted carnality, in which it wasn't a self-satisfying carnality, but it's so messy and fleshy. I'm sorry that I'm using really descriptive terms. Yes, it's disgusting. And it's terrible. It's horrible. But that is, as I mentioned earlier, it's part of the work that the Lord is doing. Because this wasn't just the response of the Israelite people to this passion and lust for blood that they did that. They did that in obedience to the Lord. The Lord commanded that. And all feelings of humanistic concern over what is fair or not fair, or what is right and wrong, those vanish very quickly when you realize the righteous anger and indignation of the Lord. In fact, a verse came to mind. I don't remember where it's from exactly, but it was when Jesus said, "Unless you hate your father and your mother and your brother, and I will say your daughter and your son," this applies to all of relationships, "you can have no part in me." And there is something to our human nature about that is really cruel and inhumane. And it will always be perceived as such if we are limited to our human perspective of things, especially the way that God does things. As we do this cultural work of clearing, and really it is an annihilation. It is a kind of spiritual harem. It is a work of uprooting and destruction. And it is, I think all of us realize this, or at least are coming to realize it. It has to do specifically with relationships. It's not about dealing with those small sins, or what our idea of sin is. Acting according to the flesh, or according to some lesser nature. It has to do with those very things that we consider to be good, maybe even pure, and perhaps even we have some skewed idea of what is holy or of God. And that's the very thing that he's destroying utterly. And it is an inevitably messy and, to our lesser nature, even disgusting and terrible work. But there is so much that has to be let go of within us. It is that for the individual, it's the death to self. It's dying. That which is not of the Lord. In fact, that dying can be reflected in, as I might put it in Jesus' words, hating anything that comes between you and God. And that includes and is actually specifically relationships. Obviously, we know that doesn't mean going out and expressing our hatred to something because they give us they might compromise our relationship with God. It's really supposed to reflect the zeal that should amount to our pursuit of God and the willingness that we have to be rid of anything that comes between us and Him.
Thank you, Noah. Appreciate that. That's a word. What do you call sometimes you're going to put down on the money? What God doing? Let's celebrate. Because I believe the result is wonderful. Thank you, Jesus. You have some thoughts? Yeah. Okay. Sister Kim, are you there? The Lord put in my heart again. I hope you're there.
I am here.
Oh, you are here. I want to pray for us.
Here.
Yes. Is that amazing?
Pretty amazing.
Pretty amazing, huh?